Hello, welcome to Wonders of the Force, the Stars podcast. My name's Phill, of course, and welcome back to the show. And of course, it is, 4:30 in the morning here in the UK, which can only mean one thing. Yes, it's an announcement, and yes, I'm up stupidly early, but you guys know I do this for the love of Star Wars, and also for the love of books and comics. Well, you guys all up there know that Star Wars is my baby on Wonders of the Force here. And unfortunately, of course, Dave and George could not join me. They both have work early in the morning. I'm kind of just bracing myself for tomorrow, but we shall see how it all goes. But this has been an announcement in a long time in the making. Project Luminous was first announced, I think it's Star Wars Celebration last year. No, George was there, and he was able to kind of feed things back to me. But this is a project that they've been working on for quite a while. So tonight's announcement was supposed to go live at 3 a.m. UK time. And this broadcast is set to go live at 3:15, and of course I've now moved it as I was waiting for the panel to get started and then for the information to come out. However, this I feel has been something that's been worth the wait, and I've waited until the end of it to be able to kind of gather all my thoughts together and also have a comprehensive list of images to show you guys, and also just to go through it in the best detail I can, even at this bleary-eyed state. So do forgive me, I am a little tired. However, I'm going to take us through this journey in as much detail as possible, purely because this is a brand new era of Star Wars. For those of you who've been fans for a while, will remember the time between 1977 and of course between 2012 when Disney bought Lucasfilm. We had the old expanded universe, we had the old canon. That was all done away with purely because there was 5 different versions of how the Rebels got the Death Star plans. There were 3 different versions of how Luke turned out. There are many different versions of many things throughout the galaxy. It was very convoluted, and they kind of scrapped it in a way. They kept Legends as Legends. They actually kept it all as one bit, so you can still go and buy the books if you still want to read that. That's fine. But they created their own proper official canon timeline. We're going, right, we have the films, we have the Clone Wars, we have the Dark Horse comic Son of Dathomir, which was part of Clone Wars Legends. We also have some of the new things coming, but that was it. They'll go, right, this is now what's canon. It's just this selection here. They wrapped up the Clone Wars, wrapped it up back then by cancelling the show, but releasing the Dark Disciple book and of course the Son of Dathomir, aforementioned Son of Dathomir comic to tie that all together. They then set about going, right, we're going to reinforce the original trilogy era, and then we went, right, then we're going to do our new sequel era, and finally getting some prequel era stuff as well, kind of bringing everything we now know and love together in one neat bundle. And now here in 2020, they're now pushing the boat out and going to an area we've never covered before in canon. So everyone was sat at the Project Luminous announcement. We've had the Project Luminous logo for a while now, which included the Old Republic symbol, the Old Jedi Order symbol. So of course we kind of had an inkling what's going on. And of course, when people arrived, this was a logo they saw: Star Wars: The High Republic. This has been teased in the comics of late, especially if you read the Rise of Kylo Ren comics. You will have heard Luke and Lord Santeca, for that matter, mention the High Republic. And so we started off the show. Well, they started off the panel with Tonya Agurto, the Senior Vice President and Publisher for Disney Publishing Worldwide, talking about the gap between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, going, what kept the fans interested? It was books. It was comics. It was these little pieces here and there that, the fans wanted to know more what was going on. And it was set in that Old Republic era. We then had a couple of screenshots come up of this mysterious Jedi here, and the Starlight Beacon we've had teased in some of the comics as of late, but we're going to crack into that in a bit. So first of all, they brought up all the authors up on stage to kind of go through what they wanted to do. And they kind of started to give us little bits and pieces. We're going, it's a time of great galactic expansion. The new hyperspace routes are expanding the galaxy. It is the core of the DNA of the Star Wars universe, but it's set in a new era. The Project Luminous will take place during the High Republic era, which is set 200 years before the events of the prequels, and a golden time, a time of peace and prosperity, a time when the Jedi really are galactic guardians and stewards of peace and justice in the galaxy. We then had to wait a little bit. They were going through backwards and forwards where they went to Skywalker Ranch to kind of get these ideas together. It's been something they've been working on for a few years now. And so it's surreal that they've been talking about for so long. They give Kathleen Kennedy credit for publishing, for pushing us to be bold with publishing. And yes, they have been given the green light to really go for it in this era. So the start of the conversation was what scares the Jedi. It's one of the jumping off points for this. So in the before the Empire, before the Dark Times, before the Separatists, before the clones, before all that, what was the threat to the Jedi Order and peace and prosperity in the galaxies? Of course, when the Senate wasn't corrupt, when Palpatine hadn't risen to power yet, this is before he was alive. This is all kind of what's to come. So we then started off with this. So we had the concept art from Phill Noto, who is a concept artist, and Ian McCraig, who is a comic artist. So just for starters, just this image right here, you have blue, purple, orange, white, black lightsabers here. Just in this one image alone, you got the Lothwolf there on the side as well. I mean, this was an image that I just saw this in my mind completely melted, going, oh, you know this is going to be good. We then have the concept art here, again from Ian McCraig, talking about the Nihiles, or the Niels, or how it's pronounced. I haven't got an audio, so I don't know how it's pronounced just yet, but this is the new enemy of the Republic. And we're going to get into that very shortly, and what that means. Again, more concept art here. This brand new way of looking at things. We then had this come up, which is the concept art from the Jedi Temple attire. So these are the Guardians, and these are the people who are at the temple studying, and these are just Jedi, of course, in and around there. But more interestingly, we then had this, which is Jedi mission attire. So these are people spreading the word of the Force in a kind of semi-religious way. But what's been teased here is the fact that it's been described as a Arthurian Knights of the Round Table style era here, where the Jedi really are knights as they were intended to be. So very much looking forward to see what that means. And of course, you actually have another more concept art here, which is from the citizens and droids of the Republic. So an interesting look at the background characters of what will inhabit this particular universe. So the Nihili are the villains of the High Republic era. These are very different from Stormtroopers. It's something we haven't seen before. Again, here are the concept art for that by Grant Griffin, Pascal Bianchi, and Gonzalo Kenny. And my word, they've been described as kind of space Vikings. I think actually that does them a disservice. If you think of space Vikings, you think of, well, somebody who's a little bit like me, you know, long hair and beard and things like that. But no, this is very much a tribal, kind of does have a kind of a Viking feel to it, kind of got a metal vibe to it as well. I'm kind of digging it, but it's also kind of like a Mad Max kind of vibe as well. It's like kind of little pieces here and there thrown together. Now, although they are very different to what we've seen before, apparently, although they are out for themselves, they are a united front. So again, it's something that we haven't seen before. It's not entirely an empire, but it's something that's, you know, new. We also have some concept lights here for the Starlight Beacon, which is what we saw earlier. Again, just kind of it's been teased before, and it's something that we'll have coming up. And then finally, we started having some reveals. Now, the first book that was revealed was this, which is The Light of the Jedi. This came out about an hour or so before the original start time, so about 2 a.m. UK time, so about 6 p.m. Pacific time. This was leaked online. And just let's just analyze the front cover here. You have a Twi'lek with a yellow lightsaber. You have the Starlight Beacon in the background there, and you have a Wookiee Jedi with a proper crossguard as well. I mean, where do you start from here? This is by Charles Soule. This is going to be released on August 25th, so 2 days before Star Wars Celebration this year. So hopefully there'll be a copy that George can pick up for me, which will be a nice exclusive variant. Maybe something like that. We'll see. Yet to be seen from that one. So this one is set, of course, in the High Republic era. There's not really much information apart from an actual release date there. The next book we have is The Test of Courage, which is by Justin Ireland. It's a middle grade book in the High Republic era following the youngest Jedi Knight in the Jedi Order. So this is kind of, I think it's going to be a young adults novel here. Very interested to see what happens with this one. But again, following, you know, the young Jedi Knights, following Jedi when Jedi was supposed to be, well, Jedi, when they were guardians of peace in the Republic. They weren't warriors before the Clone Wars, before the Dark Times. The next piece we have, of course, is from Marvel. So Star Wars will be getting its own High Republic comic series. There's no release date on this just yet. However, that front cover does look cool. This is a variant edition, so no actual image of the for the normal front cover. I will probably try and pick this one up for myself as well, just because I do like collecting the variant editions. I have far too many for my own good, but that's another problem. I don't care. This is written by Cavan Scott. It's not the only comic to be announced, which is good, but it's unsurprising that Marvel, of course, had the first crack at it. But the next one to be announced, actually, we'll get onto that in a bit, is from IDW. But the next book we had announced was Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, which is, as far as a Padawan who loves adventure, it actually has a captain character inspired by Matthew McConaughey, apparently. I'm not too... I don't know how I feel about the Matthew McConaughey bit, but we'll see. We'll come to that when we come to that. I'm very interested to see what the character is and where the character goes and just really what's going to be involved in this particular era. The next bit, as I said, is the High Republic Adventures. So we already had the Star Wars Adventures by IDW. This will be joining their current lineup for that, which will be the High Republic era. So this will be High Republic Adventures to go along with their, as I said, the Star Wars Adventures, lot written by Daniel Jose Older. But interestingly, though, these are not the only partners in this particular endeavor here. We also have additional licenses for Titan Comics. Titan Comics do Doctor Who, they do Warhammer, they do Assassin's Creed. So they do some smaller scale stuff, but for some larger companies. So interested to see. So you're going to have Marvel, IDW, and Titan all working in one place. Very interesting what happens that. You got Viz, you have DK, you have a couple of pieces there. B&M Books, I don't know the other two logos, I must admit. So phase one is called the Light of the Jedi. But there will be much more to come after that. Again, linking into those additional licenses. But it's interestingly how this will be called. This is just phase one, because we have much more to come from that. And I think in the future you will see games, maybe films, maybe TV shows, probably TV shows more than likely, maybe an animated show, maybe a live action show coming to Disney Plus in the near future. So I'm very interested to see how and what they do with that. But I do think this will be a springboard for the next era of Star Wars, a step away completely from the Skywalker saga. That's now on the shelf. That's been completed. This is their new way of going forward. The last image, of course, we had here is the Star Wars: The High Republic logo. Kind of, this is what they're going to be going forward as their kind of press image here. But again, you have Jedi with proper cross guards. You have saber staffs. You have purple. You have white as well. I mean, you have some really weird and wonderful colors and interesting what's going to happen. So the best place is going to learn more about the High Republic is StarWars.com, and there'll be much more info coming out between now and August. Of course, August is when we have Star Wars Celebration. That is literally everything I have so far. There is no other kind of information that's been put out there. We do have a trailer that apparently has just been released. I will give it a watch in a bit, and I will post more information on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. But very interested to see what's going to go forward from here. I'm very interested to see what your opinions will be like as well, guys. Don't forget, you can comment down below, comment in the live chat here. We can comment on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. I'm going to be putting all the artwork I've just shown you on screen onto the pages as well. So those of you who are listening to the audio back can look at the images and see what I've been going on about here. I am really excited by this era. This is a brand new era for Star Wars. This is what I get up for in the morning when it comes to Star Wars. It's this brand new era. This is this High Republic set 200 years before the events of the Skywalker saga. It's its own place. It's new canon. It's new characters, but that's uninhibited by this Skywalker saga timeline. So it's set 200 years before. You have an awful long time. You can go before that. You can go after that. You just have a huge amount of time here. Now, it doesn't have the Sith at the moment per se. But what will happen to them? Very interested. What will happen to the Jedi? Where they're going to go? Because we know where they're going to end up. But this is them at the height of their power. And it's going to be... I'm just very interested to see what's going to go on and where it's going to go from here. I am, however, now going to try and get me some sleep. It is 22:05 in the morning, UK time here. those of you who have joined to watch along, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting. I've been chatting to people in the comment section whilst I've been waiting for the news to come. Thank you for bearing with and allowing me just to get all the information in one place so I could give you a comprehensive breakdown. I was not invited, of course, to the announcement. A lot of people were. We don't have that luxury, sadly, at the moment, but to have all this information, be able to give it to you in a concise form, was more important to me than kind of being on time yet not having anything for you and kind of prattling on here. I want to kind of give you my concise thoughts, my reaction, and my thoughts of going forward. I cannot wait for this era. I will, of course, be covering it on our podcast, and I may even do a spin-off show by myself called Star Laws. I will talk to the guys about this. It's something I want to do. I want to really delve into my love of the comics, the books, the audios, this extra medium of Star Wars, this bit that, although you don't have to read it, if you do, add so much more flavor and text to the galaxy, and something that I am very interested in going forward with. So thank you, as I said, so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at One's the Force to Stars Podcast, at the Force Podcast. You can find the video for this later on our Facebook and YouTube pages, and the audio will be put up by Dave later on our Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes. So until then, we've been Ones of the Force. May the Force be with you. Good night.